Okay, so first of all, I'll just quickly sum up where we've got. Okay, so we've seen that we have a data service which has got two functions, getting synonyms for a word and getting rhymes for a word. And this function is created by appending the word in question to a URL which leads us to the DataMuse API. Okay, and these two functions are kind of this whole class, this data service, gets injected into the component class for our kind of app component.html, which is the fundamental page the viewer sees. Okay, so into the constructor, we're injecting our data service, and then we're running so these functions here are now called by the buttons get DataMuse synonyms, and this then invokes the DM API get synonyms from the service, and the word subscribes to it, okay, in order to become the, if you like, the bucket, the repository into which the results are put. The thing we want to do at this particular moment, though, is to make it a little easier for the user to read by sorting the results of rhymes into their by syllables. Now, if I look in the word chain, you'll see that each rhyme object has the word, which is the word itself, write, cite, fight, etc., and the number of syllables. But midnight, for example, would have 2. So what we can do then, what we should think, if you like, in pseudocode, really, what we're attempting to do here is that we should find out kind of like what is the highest number of rhymes. We're going to start at 1. But what is the highest? I mean, in all the kind of stuff that the web services return to us, what's the highest number? Okay, so what's the maximum number of syllables in any of the rhymed words that are returned? So having got that, then we can do a loop through those numbers, and we can then sort them into groups. But we have to commit, it's not necessarily sequential, because there's a situation potentially one word has a 2-syllable rhyme, doesn't have any 3-syllable rhymes, but might have a 4-syllable rhyme. I don't know, maybe. So effectively what we need to create is some kind of dictionary whereby, say, for example, the number 2 means all the rhymes with stands for. The key 2 stands for all words with 2 syllables. The key 3 stands for all words with 3 syllables, etc., etc. So that is what we're going to do. So probably let's now create these variables. So let's call it something like rhymes rhymes by by the syllable count, KVP, so key value pair, so key value pairs, okay, equals new. Now this time it's an object, because instead of it being just a list of things, it's going to be a list of numbers, and each number represents another list of things. Okay, so now but then eventually we'll have to have some kind of array of numbers which will represent the buttons which the user can click on to say, I want to see things with 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 4 syllables, for example. So let's kind of call this something like syl counts equals new array. Okay, that's the syllable counts. Okay, so we've got then rhymes to show, etc. I mean, there is a case of kind of there are some words which won't have any rhymes. But rather than going into the full kind of conditionality at this moment, I'll try to keep it simple. So we've got that thing. So now we've got to so we've got here our. Well, let's create at this point. We've got this rhymes to show. Let's just create a new variable, because rhymes to show would be the things we want to see. So we want to create another one, which let's call something like all rhymes. So all rhymes which will make that string. It might not be necessary to have that variable, but just in case anyway. So we'll say, so rather than this rhymes to show, we'll say this dot all rhymes equals that. Actually, to be honest with you, we don't really need it, to be honest. Instead, now what we want to do, however, is find out which is the word which has got the highest number of syllables in all these rhyme words that are being given to us. Okay, so what we can do with that is, I'm going to go and do another bit of kind of rather crazy JavaScript here now, or TypeScript. Var highest sil equals. So we can do, we saw the kind of arrow functions. Well, we can just do a mathmax over a whole big list of objects and the things in them. So we could do a filter of it. So we do math.max.apply, open bracket. We're not going to send any argument to it. Null, and then this dot actually sort of like we'll just use the data, to be honest. Let's just so it's like so here it is, data. So we'll just say data.map, and then we're going to say all we want is to be doing by the number of syllables. Okay, so that should give us the highest, the word with the highest number of syllables. Okay, so we'll just probably at this point we'll reinitialize the object which contains the key value pairs of numbers and words with those number of syllables. So we'll say something like this dot rhyme by silcount avp equals new object. I say I know it's already initialized as such in the beginning, but in the process of doing this we might have kind of done it previous object, so each one needs to be on a completely new set, if you like. Okay, so we've got that. So now we can say for I equals, well, we don't really know, say I equals 1, I is less than highest sil, I is less than highest sil, I think plus 1 actually, maybe we should do it. I plus plus. And then we'll kind of like so right, so I need to just make I as a, just declare I, let I. Okay, so I equals 1. So here it is, we've got that now. So we're going to create now a temporary array var words with I syllables, of which is going to be type of string. Okay, now here we're going to do another of these kind of one-line JavaScript lines. We're going to put go through the whole list, and all the words with I number of syllables in it we're going to put into this temporary array. So we're going to say something like this, words with I syllables equals, okay, so it's going to be data dot filter, open bracket. So here I'm going to say where you know, only want objects where the number of syllables is I. So x equals angle bracket, so x arrow function, x dot num syllables, and it's kind of a triple equals I. Okay, but all we don't want the rest of that data. All we just want is the word. So we're going to say dot map y dot word. Okay, so that should give us all of the words with that number of syllables in this whole list. Okay, until we put in this temporary array. And now what we'll do is we'll now add to our set of key value pairs. We'll say this dot rhymes by cell count kvp. So we're going to say the key being I. So for when I is 1, the value is basically this array. Okay, so what we've done, we've created, so we'll have a sort of like, say 1 will have these number of words, 2 will have these kind of words, 3 will have all the 3-syllabled words, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and then kind of having done that, we'll kind of at the end of having done that loop, we now want to just find out only the keys, which will become the things we'll see in buttons with numbers on them, which allow the user to choose rhymes with that number of syllables. Okay, so if I'm going to call it, so what did we call it again? I can't remember. I think it's sil counts. Yes. So if we go now, this dot sil counts equals object keys, and then we just put the keys is this rhymes by sil count SVP. So that will give us all of those numbers. Now, actually, there's something slightly wrong there, because I've realized that there might be occasions where there are no syllables. So let's kind of, before we will do this, we only need this if words with syllables length is kind of like greater than 0. So let's kind of just do a quick if statement. If words with I syllables, which is our temporary array of words with that number of syllables, dot length is greater than 0, then and only then will we add that key to our list of keys in our object. Okay, and okay, and then probably what we want to show is the item with the fewest number of syllables, kind of like right from the very start, without the user having to click on it. Mean by default they should appear. So let's kind of show which is what is it? Rhymes to show, I think is the word, was rhymes to show. So we'll say we've got to find out which is the lowest of all. So okay, so var lowest sil equals math.min. It's the opposite of what we did before. Apply null this dot sil counts. Okay, so we just want to find what is the lowest one of that number. Okay, and then we can say we can then decide that what we want to do is say rhymes to show will equal that one. So let's kind of so then yes, what we need to do then is this dot rhymes to show, okay, equals this dot rhymes by sil count kvp open square bracket lowest syllable. Okay, so that's going to be the one there. So that will then, so we can quickly just see if that will work by, now of course again there might be certain words which have no rhymes. Okay, so that's some situation which I haven't dealt for here, and also there are other things we need to think about as well. But anyway, let's see if we can get it to at least appear. And so far this seems to work. So for example, if I click on car on train, I just get 1-syllable words. Okay, click on van, we're only getting 1 syllable words. Hood, Okay, as you see, I'm being quite circumspect on the ones I click on because that might have. So the next thing I need to do is have a set of buttons here which will give the user the choice to click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever number of syllables. So we'll go on to that next, and we'll also then just try to do a little bit of class stuff to show what is the currently selected thing that we want to check the rhyming of.